What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brutal Planet Comics. I'm your host, Dre the Brute Daniels, and welcome to another episode of the Indie Corner, where I sit down with everybody from the independence community, writers, artists, directors, producers, doesn't matter if you're in the game, I want to talk to you. So we have ourselves a muy especial guest coming all the way from Cuba. He is the creator and writer of Diamond Age. Give it up, everybody, for Jose MIRO Valdes.
Hi, man. What's up?
Oh, it feels good to see you, my friend. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing, my friend?
I do well. Now that I'm sitting here with you, my day is a whole lot better.
Oh, thanks, man. Mine too. we got to meet. Finally.
Exactly.
Trying to do this stuff.
Yes. So I am super excited to get into your work. And I'm pretty sure everybody at home is really excited to see it too. But before we get into all that, let's just get to know you a little bit, Jose. How did we get here? Like who you are, where you come from, all that good stuff. How did we get here?
Oh boy, it's a complicated story. Well, let me start by the beginning. My name is Jose MIRO. I'm the creator / translator of the comic series Diamond Age. I'm from Havana, Cuba. My day job is I'm a medical doctor specialized in infant and adolescent psychiatry. By day, by night, I'm a comic creator, and by evenings, I'm Batman, I think. It's a pretty colorful life we got going around here. Before I go on, I wanted to talk to the public about our business partner who unfortunately can't be here due to family problems. His name is Mandy. He's our illustrator and also co-owner of Joseph and Mandy Studios, which is the studios we work with in order to create this wonderful series and its derivatives for you. He should be here, but life is unfair and we have to work with it. And I'm here showing the studio's face for both of us.
Well, first of all, I'm super stoked that you still have the opportunity to come and speak with me today. I'm sorry your partner couldn't be here, but like you said, life happens. And
yeah.
But for you to be here to represent you all, I'm still super excited. Absolutely.
Thanks a lot. I'm really excited too. Like more than excited, I'm really happy to be with you here.
Oh, the pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine, my friend. Absolutely. So how did we go from you being a doctor, and you can specify what kind of doctor you are. How'd you go from a doctor to creating comics?
Well, it wasn't exactly like that. I wanted to tell you that this project has been with me since I was 16 years old.
Oh.
I started creating it. By then, I started creating it by myself. I made kind of a comic. I burnt it to the ground after I finished it because it was like plagiarism. It was like a mixture of everything I had seen, but it served as the basis of one of the main characters you've seen in the Diamond Age comics right now, which is Sac Vitalis, the smaller one, the one with the side.
Gotcha.
It was the basis of that character, and it was also kind of the basis of this world. As time passed and coping with school demands and later on university demands and later on job demands, I was like working one line at a time in order to get where we are now. Actually, we started publishing this project in 2020.
Okay.
When the time I kind of met and settled a contract with our illustrator. But before that, I wanted to tell you all the scripts are written, almost all the characters are designed. This story has a beginning and an end. What might change along the way is its course, which we have polished with time, with maturity, with age, with reading a lot, with watching all other series. But it's not that I went from doctor to creator. I was a creator before even thinking about entering the wonderful world of medicine. So
Wow.
it's a
That's
dream that hasn't died with time.
exactly. That's the dreams that we have as children always end up pushing up to the surface.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Jose, um, what got you? Were you a fan of comics just growing up, or was it TV shows? Like, what kind of inspired you to get into creation?
Well, I always loved cartoons. I started with Cartoon Network stuff like the Flintstones, the Jetsons, all those old cartoons. We consider old. People call them old. I call them classic.
Hey,
Because they've never stopped being great. Then I got into the world of DC Comics, which I met Batman. When I saw the first Batman movie I saw was Batman Returns. And I was
okay.
actually having nightmares with Batman himself. He caused me nightmares.
Yo, that was
But
if that was your first exposure to Batman, yeah, you're gonna have some
yeah.
nightmares.
But later on, I read the comics. It was like a more kids-friendly Batman, another outfit, another kind of a villain dynamic, less violent, less killable, less dark.
Yeah.
Especially the Detective Comics series. So I got more into the superhero comics world. Then I jumped from DC to Marvel, then to video games. I remember the first console I saw was the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah.
And the first game I played was actually the X-Men game from the Super NES.
No way.
Yeah,
Jose,
that's the first game I played.
that
So it
is one
got
of my
me,
favorite
yeah,
old
yeah.
games. Like I played it on the Sega Genesis growing up. I grew up in a Sega household.
Oh yeah.
So like up here in the States, it's like it's either your Sega or your Nintendo. There is
I,
no
I,
in between.
I grew up in a Sega Genesis household too, but by that time, I lived in a neighborhood in which we didn't have much access to that. Only one kid had a Nintendo, and he was pretty nice actually letting us play and stuff. The first time I saw a video game was with him, and it like got me into the world. It
Yeah.
like pulled me. It's not got me. It's like a vortex that pulls you in.
Oh yeah.
And then consuming video games and reading comics and seeing all these universes that were created in the way, especially the crossover comics like Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, or X-Men Spider-Man, it got me like inspired to create my own stuff.
Wow.
But like every good creator, you create a lot of drafts,
Yep.
and then until you get to a fairly original work.
Absolutely.
Because one thing I despise is plagiarism.
And I could not agree with you more, Jose. On all points. I'm gonna drop down a few of those points that you just dropped on us. First of all, you getting involved in video games off of one of my personal favorites of all time,
Yeah.
Chef's Kiss. I love everything about that. That is awesome. I love that game. Hard as the devil, but I love that game. I love that game. As far as getting into fandom that way of being exposed to comics later on, that's dope. And like Batman is one of my favorite comics series of all time. And as you mentioned, my ear is pretty good. My eyes be failing me sometimes, but my ear is pretty good. You mentioned the Detective Comics series. That is actually one of my favorite Batman runs. I actually have a whole bunch of them on the side of my wall. That's one of my favorite Batman runs of all time because it focused a lot on the detective work. I mean, obviously the detective comics, but it wasn't labeled as an action adventure. It was about a mystery that's being solved and stuff like that. And I took a lot of inspiration from that as well. And for you, as far as when it comes to creativity, I agree as well. Plagiarism is a joke to me, and I know a lot of creators do what we call up here doppelganger characters.
Oh yeah.
Doppelganger characters like you'll make Superman but not call him Superman.
I've seen that.
It'll be.
Well, I respect everyone's work, but at least it's not my style.
I agree.
If ever a reader finds a doppelganger in our comic, it's completely accidental, because in creation I've seen there are common points in certain
Of
characters.
course, of course.
But if you read our comic, you'll see it's as original as it can be.
Yes, and I could not agree more. Like you said, there's always going to be similarities here and there, because
Yeah,
there's an expression. There's nothing new under the sun.
yeah,
Nothing new under the sun. But to be able to take an old trope and be able to make it into something fresh and new, now not only are you able to pay homage, but you're also able to push a story forward with
yeah.
new and original ideas. So yeah, I agree with that 110%. So well, thank you, Jose, for sharing that journey with us. So I am super stoked to get into this. Let's talk about your comic series, Diamond Age. My goodness, my goodness. Now, before you even jump into this, I had the opportunity to go through this entire series, and
Yeah.
my God, I had so much fun going through this series. I am not someone that is easily impressed. I've seen a lot. I've been around the block. I've seen stuff that's really, really good. I've seen stuff that's not really, really good. But what you've done with this story, it was action packed, but at the same time, I'm a character development type guy. I'm that guy that's character first. So even though this is centered around a very pretty much one day, the whole story is in one day, I got to understand who these characters were. I understand like their strengths, weaknesses. It all just came together in a very, very short run, which is very rare. I've seen comic series that go for 20 issues that doesn't make a point. Okay. But what you're able to do in 6 was really impressive to me.
Well, you've seen nothing yet. Well, actually, the 6 chapters you saw are one chapter, or
Okay.
one arc, as we would like to call it.
Okay.
But due to Webtoons regulations and other platform regulations concerning chapter sizes, I had to split it into 6. And I gotta say, it was a blessing in disguise, but because we could enrich our story more, we could like add some stuff that weren't there at the original script, and it came out better than what I actually foresaw in my when I wrote the script, when we started drawing, when we started making the story, like because our way of doing things is like writing the script first, then storyboard, then drawing, then coloring, and then what we call paneling, which
Yep.
we use a licensed
Yep. We use
software
the
for
same
that.
term here. We use the same term, paneling.
Yeah, and then before we do that, we have like a vision of what's about to come, and after we upload it, it's like better than the vision we had. At least it's worked like that for us for these first 6 chapters.
Yeah.
And you've seen nothing yet because the story hasn't gotten into the characters' backstories, which each of them, to each of Zach, Alex, and even the police chief have rich backstories with their own weaknesses, their own traumas, their own happinesses, their own addictions. I'm gonna spoil a bit around here. For
Okay.
example, Zach is addicted.
Okay, Jose. Okay, Jose, you can spoil what you like, but you're not obligated
No,
to spoil.
it's like a small good spoiler. For example, Zach is addicted to beer, and not just any kind of beer, a special beer they serve on Diamond Age. It's like some kind of grapefruit beer. He could drink 14 of those and still drink. He's also a bad spender, as you saw in the first chapter.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a really bad spender. It's a small spoiler. He has driven their company bankrupt by spending on whores and beer and some other stuff that is gonna come out later. So each character has their weaknesses, their strengths, their backstories, their likes, their dislikes, but they have something in common. They love that world.
Yeah.
They love living in that world, and which is something we're gonna talk about when we reach the world, the diamond world, as we slangily call it.
Okay.
Also, but we managed that thanks to a contingency actually, because as I said, due to the regulations, our chapters have limited pages, so I had to split them. But in order to split a chapter, you have to leave each section with a cliffhanger. How do you leave a cliffhanger in the middle of the fight? So you have to finish that fight, and then you have to retake it in like a turning point, a climactic point.
Yeah.
And all those changes inadvertently gave us what you've read here, what you just mentioned, like covering everything up in one arc, in six chapters in one arc. But everything's not covered. There are a lot of stuff to yet to see, a lot of things to know about our world, because what you've seen is a bad night in the options line of work. It started, I don't know if you noticed, it started raining, then the raining little by little got dissipated, and by the end of the sixth chapter, dawn was coming.
Yes. Yes, and I think that was so well done. Now, as far as like, I'm what we like to call, I'm a sucker for pacing. I love pacing because that's one of my things. Because like you, I tell episodical stories. That leads one right into the other. There's no gap. There's no time jumps. None of that stuff. It's, hey, what you saw in issue or on chapter 1, chapter 2, we're picking up right where we left off. Like, that is my type of writing style as well. So, we like this, brother. So, and to see how you were able to do it, especially with the restrictions that you had, to be able to, because I noticed in, I believe it was chapter 4 or 5, it had to be split maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But where you had the splits was perfect. Where you had the splits, as far as like cliffhangers and things like that, that shows masterful editing. That shows masterful editing on you guys' part. Because if that was cut, I'm not going to give any spoilers here, but if it was cut at a certain point when the action sequence wasn't at a point where one of our main heroes was in dire straits, it wouldn't have worked as well. But but the edits that you have are perfect. Like right at the moment, right? I'm telling you, I was up all night. I was sitting there like, I'm like, oh snap, what happens? Oh snap, what happens? And I'm like, oh wait, next. Yeah. And so if you can catch me or an audience like that, not only is your writing very good, it's top notch. Your writing is top notch. Not only is your writing that good, but you're gonna have the right direction, which a lot of creative writers do not have, is direction. But you have the wherewithal to have good direction. You got yourself some gold there, my friend, and congratulations to you and your team for being able to put together a story like this, despite the limitations.
That means a lot to us, coming from you. Everything you've said means a lot to us. Like, my face is burning right now with like bliss. But it was like contingency editing at the end, because we had a plan, we had a schedule, we had like a distribution of the chapters, and when we tried to upload it, it was like your chapter is too your number of pages exceeds our maximum. So we went like, what do we do now? So we had to take the story at the climactic points and split it. It was a highly meditative journey, because it was hard to, it's not like something you can do like this.
Yeah.
But it came out good at the end, and by hearing you talk, it came out better than good.
Yeah, like I said, Jose, I was hooked. I could not stop reading. I was like, hey, I was like, oh, I gotta figure out what happens. Oh snap, how's he gonna overcome this enemy at the end and all this stuff? I'm like, how is he gonna? I'm like, wait a minute, is he gonna die? You know what I mean? Like, all these emotions started coming up inside me while I was reading. I was reading, and it's well done. It's well paced, and it's an excellent story. I cannot praise Diamond Age more. It's very, Very good.
I have a question for
Sure,
you.
Jose.
How did you feel when you finished chapter one and jumped to chapter two, the hologram thingy? Do you
So
remember?
so what happened was this: when I was going through chapter one during the setup phase, and it got to, I don't want to give too many spoilers here.
No
When it,
problem. It's
okay,
already published.
okay,
So
like when like after we had the setup phase, and I believe the main character that was on the ground was Zach. Zach is on the ground.
yeah,
Zach is on the
yeah,
ground, and as the whole born identity thing is kind of setting up, and when we got to the point of when the after they did the first infiltration,
yeah,
and the I don't want to get, but when Alex looks like he's about to be killed at
yeah,
the top,
yeah.
and then when he gets looks like he's being mowed down, I literally went like, oh, I literally jumped back. I was like, oh snap, he's dead. And I'm like, oh my god. I mean, literally, I jumped back. I'm like, yo, did he? I'm like, did he kill him? But then, of course,
Then what happened?
yeah. Then with
How
what
did
happens,
you?
I was like, okay, that was cool. I was like, that was cool. It took me aback because I'm like, because like me, I'm like, did Jose kill off one of his main characters already? But I'm like, oh. I'm like, you sly dog. You sly dog. That was good.
That's a part actually readers criticize a lot. They feel like pranked. And
Yeah.
I love them when they get back at me and they criticize it because that's exactly my point over there.
Yeah, and that's how it works with a team. And I love the way that you implemented the humor into the story, because
Yeah,
I like writing humor too. And like, but it wasn't like over the top goofy, because I've seen this before. And it's usually used in the Marvel movies mostly. Like
yeah,
if you look at the Marvel movies, it's like a serious story, but then there's just outlandish jokes that don't make sense, but to cause levity and to make people feel calmer. But I'm like, yo, this is goofy. This is a serious situation. I don't need goofy. But the type of humor that you used worked within the dynamic of your two main characters between Alex
yeah.
and Zach. It worked because it's their relationship, and we're seeing how they play off each other, and it makes so much sense. So it works. I mean, like when I say this story works, it's very rare when I can actually sit there and be like, hey, everything that they sought out worked out really well. Like the action sequences are really good, the abilities are really tough, and it leaves me with cliffhangers, especially in regards to the the Lycan
The
character.
likeness,
Yeah, the Lycan
the
character.
likeness.
Um,
Yeah.
it, it I want to know more, and that's why I'm really excited for the work you guys are cooking up over there, because I wanted to see more, and so congrats to you all.
That's actually the point. And I hope you continue being one of our readers.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am. You got me hooked right in the lip. I'm right there. You got me hooked right there. That was really cool. I really like that. So
Small spoiler for you. The
let
Lycan is gonna be the big boss, the
I
big bad boss of the first upcoming season, which is
okay.
season one.
I am
So
excited.
you've seen what happened. He's gonna do a lot of damage, and
Okay.
you've seen our banner too, which is kind of a spoiler. But his final design look, we love his final design. It's like one of the enemy characters we love the most. So I had to feature him in the first season banner.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
small hidden stuff that only solo readers can see.
Okay. I like that. I like that. So, with that in mind, I couldn't help but notice, but there were a few characters in your series that stood out to me, and they looked more like tributes to different people. Was that intentional?
Yeah, actually, it's one of our programs. It's what we call the first 100 program, which allows readers to be part of our story, but not as an extra, actually as a main character. According to what they want, we adjust them to our scripts, and according to what they ask for, it's their part on the story, you know.
That's excellent.
We're doing them characters little by little. It depends on the amount of people who join and the amount of time we have in our daily lives. But you're talking about the characters you saw in chapter 6, right?
Yes, I am. Most definitely am.
Yeah, that's actually the first chapter in which we actually feature two first 100 characters, which are Jose Valdes. She's a reader of ours and a creator as well. Her comic is really good, but she's a Latin American creator, so she publishes in Webtoon Spanish.
Okay.
And we also featured MIRO, which is another creator, friend of ours, creator slash Diamond Age reader who has been with us since the beginning. She wanted a character for her, and her order of appearance fits her needs. She's actually one of the main characters for our upcoming spin-off, which is called Diamond Age Office Life. It's Diamond Age, but oriented to a more slice of life comic style.
Gotcha.
Away from all the violent action that surrounds Zack and Alex, but it goes on with the main Diamond Age storyline.
Gotcha.
And we've got plenty of character orders, but we're doing them as the story progresses. We're doing them as also at the order of the people who asked us for characters. The upcoming season 1 trailer will feature the first run of first 100 characters all together, mixed in what you call an ashcan. Am I correct? Like a 6-page comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a small 6-page comic, which will be the Diamond Age first season trailer.
Okay.
That will be your opportunity to see the beauty of Centralis City by day.
Ooh. Instead of the grunginess of night. I like it.
Yeah. And you will know what's gonna come in season 1. We're still preparing it. We want to offer a whole new experience. I don't know if you noticed, our art has changed in 6 chapters.
It has.
We're trying new colors, we're trying new software, we're trying new shaders, and we're using every small amount of time we have to improve that.
Good stuff. And that's the beauty of growth. And I think that, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, Jose, because there's a lot of artists that's like, hey, this is my style, this I'm sticking to, whatever, I'm great. But to see that you all, not only do you do good work, but you're also humble enough to know that there's always room for growth and improvement.
There's always
room for growth and improvement, and you've taken your own advice in the same way. Because once again, Jose, we might have been split at birth, my brother. We might have been split at birth because I have the exact same philosophy. Even when I did my first series and how the art was in the direction, me and my partner, we were like, hey, I like the way this is working. Hey, let's move this. Let's see if we can, in the next issue, let's see if we can make motion look better. Let's see if we can blur some of these colors. Let's see if we can use more exasperated effects. Like we saw a chance for growth and we took it. And I respect and appreciate all of that, Jose.
I'll tell that to Mandy as well.
Yes.
He's one of the main responsible people for that growth, because he's all over me like, this shadow doesn't belong here, change that, please blur the movement in that character. He's one of his functions is quality control, but he also recognizes that he has improved his drawing style with our project. Absolutely. So it's like a win-win situation here.
Those are the best kind of situations.
For both of us, because when we look at what he did before entering our project, what we did in chapter 1 and what we're doing now, it's kind of a big change. I think it's maybe too much change for one diamond age night, but if it's for the better, it's good, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Whatever might change, whatever might improve the whole thing, and whatever might offer a better reader, viewer, critics experience, it's all good for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I could not be more excited for the work that you guys are cooking up. So, where can everybody find your work? Where can people reach you on social media? Where can we get your stuff?
Okay. Well, in lots of places and not enough at the same time. We started publishing on Webtoons because it was like the more creator friendly platform to get our work out there. Also, it was the more manageable for two publishing noobs like we were at the beginning, you know. But with time, we've managed to know other platforms. Some are banned here. Some have been gradually unbanned for other reasons. I don't have the time to speak about right now. But we started on Webtoons. We have published. We've translated our series to several languages on Webtoons as well. That the studio does it. We have our series on Webtoons English, on Webtoons Spanish, on Webtoons French. We recently started publishing on Tapastic as well, tapas.io.
Oh, yeah, Tapas. Yes. Yeah.
And there is a really good platform which I didn't know about until recently, that is Webcomics app. It's an older platform than Webtoons, but we're publishing it there as well. It's a Hong Kong based
Okay.
webcomic platform. We have a Facebook page, which is in our humble website. We have our Instagram, we have our Twitter. We haven't been able to open a DeviantArt or Reddit due to crazy regulations and
I
stuff.
understand.
And we're trying to open a YouTube page. We're trying to figure it out. And we're trying to open pages on some other platforms as well to get like our work out there to attract more readers, like from every nationality, from every platform. You know, translation has its perks because
Yes.
we've been able to gather a Latin American public. We've been able to gather a US/Filipino/UK public.
Yeah.
We have a smaller reader community in the French speaking, the Francophone speaking, most of them from France, Senegal, and Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast.
Okay.
In your language. Yeah, we have readers from everywhere only by translating our comics. We've kind of gone international before actually going international.
Yes. And I agree with that strategy, Jose, because I myself, as we spoke before, I do a little Spanish here and there, but my comic primarily is in English, but also translated in Spanish as well. So I'm Jose. I am convinced we were separated at birth. I am 100% certain that we were separated at
we
birth.
were born at the same hospital
Yeah.
at the same day. Which day is your birthday?
March the 9th.
Oh, mine is May 25th.
We were close.
But,
We that close.
I think they changed our birthday.
Exactly. One of us. They messed up one of our birth certificates.
Yeah,
They messed us up.
that could happen.
Yeah.
Also, wanted to use this chance to tell you we offer translation service.
Oh,
Smart
excellent.
translation services.
Awesome.
English, French, and Spanish. And for friends, we have discount prices, such as yourself.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you ever want to go international in the good way, not using Google Translation,
Yeah.
I mean actually native like translation,
Yeah.
we're your guys.
Yeah. Oh man, thank you so much for that, Jose.
We're
That's
here
excellent.
for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, my brother. Because I may be needing
Thanks
that
a
in the
lot.
future.
Yeah. You know who to call. Don't get like hard time out there looking for a translator. You've got us.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. But Jose,
and with friendly price.
absolutely. That's the best. Ain't nothing better than friendly prices. That's the absolute best. But man, my brother, I am so happy to have had you on the show today. You have been an absolutely tremendous guest. You have tremendous work, you and your team. It's been an honor and a privilege just having you here today.
Thanks a lot. It's been an honor for me to participate in your show, which I love, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm one of your subscribers.
And makes my heart beat out my chest. That makes my heart so glad, and I'm so happy to be able to have this time and speak with you today.
Thanks a lot, my friend. And well, if you need anything else.
Oh no. If I ever need anything else, I'm calling you directly without question, my brother.
Thanks.
But this has been so fantastic. Thank you so very much for coming.
Have a nice day.
Absolutely. So everybody, this has been Jose Valdes, my good friend. Check out all of his terrific work. I'm going to leave it in the description section below. Definitely follow him on his social media. Follow Diamond Age. It's a great, great comic series. It is chef's kiss. This, of course, has been the Indie Corner, but you knew that already. You already know who I am. I'm Dre the Brute Daniels. Follow me on all my dope social media platforms I'll put right under my face. They're not there yet, but they will be there. At TheBrute00 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, sometimes on TikTok if I'm feeling goofy. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the vid. You all have been awesome, and we will catch you all next time. Also, if you want to support my channel, check out spinwiz.com or download the Spinwiz app and check out my comic series Trouble. It was written with a lot of love, and it was definitely my favorite comic series to write. I've also written it in English and in Spanish, so whatever floats your boat, I got it for you. Thanks again, and check it out.